Okay, let's Melissa, why don't we open it up for questions and a Q&A, because I'm sure people are going to have some questions for Jeff and some candid conversation here. So if you want to unmute your mics and ask some questions, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pick the master's mind here.
I think Jessica, is it Jessica? She had her hand up.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Jessica.
I think you're on mute, Jessica.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Awesome. Okay, Jeff, thank you so much for sharing all of this information. You've mentioned quite a few points, so I've been writing down some questions. So I do have 3 questions here. So the first is around leads. You mentioned that you're using quite a few different lead generation platforms. And I'm just curious, is there a particular platform that you're utilizing that's getting the most qualified leads?
So my squeeze pages have been good for my local market, and just doing simple things like, here's a list of properties under 750,000 in like I'll pick a community. So say Centerpoint, I'll say homes under $1 million in Centerpoint, stuff like that. And I'll boost that. I'll optimize it. So I'll spend some money on it. You got to spend a little bit of money to get it out into the marketplace, and you'll get more leads through that as well. You know, you can find, I don't know where you're located, but sometimes there might be local people there that will do online lead generation for you. Like I've used a few, like I can tell you, you know, there's a few that I've used that I didn't like. I have a good friend of mine that's exceptional at that I'm utilizing. But if you ask around and in your network as well, you'll find a few. I do feel like, you know, you should invest in that. You know, if there's a cost, try it for 90 days. You're going to be able to measure it very quickly. And if it's not working 90 days, try something else, but give it that time, give it 90 days. Phil's always told me to give it 12 months, you know, because if you spend X on it, the great thing in real estate, it's easy to see what the value is on the sales and commissions you have coming in.
For sure.
So I would pick a couple and test them.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that information. Another point that you had mentioned with building your team is that you've generated a template to start. And I'm just curious, are those templates available through EXP, or is that something you developed individually?
Yeah, to be honest, like I'm now focusing a lot on agent attraction. So there's a ton of agent attraction in EXP University. There's some great courses being taught for agent attraction. Top agents within EXP are putting those trainings on, and they talk about that. So you can get templates from that. If you want to send me an email later on, I can send you the template that I'm using. But it's basically, you know, when you bring someone on, the worst thing you can do is not pay attention to them. They feel disengaged. So we spend a lot of time. I do a lot of training through video conference. My admin, Sarah, does a ton of training. Local MLS shows them how to search. Like I know EXP does a lot of that as well, but we make sure that they're getting it done. We schedule it for them in the calendar so they're doing it. And we hold their hand at the beginning quite a bit.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. And one last question is, are you willing to share your biggest mistake that you've made in the first 6 months?
Not hiring an admin faster. I should have, with Phil, I got off to the races really fast, and hiring admin in my first month was crazy to me. I thought, this is nuts. That's a big cost, and I should have done that. That's my biggest regret, because as I said, it cost me about $150,000 in GCI. And it just cost me a lot of time. You know, I spent a lot of time working on that stuff where I could have been focusing on other stuff, resting, getting ready for the next day, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great feedback. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Anyone else have any questions? Madam?
Yeah,
awesome.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Really, it was a lovely conversation. The thing is, you know, I don't know how it works in Ottawa, but in BC, actually, I don't know, we cannot just call 10 times or 6-7 times one day, 1%. Even the collection agency, I used to work in the collection agency for 10 months. We were allowed to call only 1 time per day. And if exceeding from that one, even they can complain that they are scamming us or they are, you know, bugging us, something like that. And even one client, I got buyers, and after that, I just sent him 2 texts only before calling that, can I call you? Do you have a time like that? And then she complained that, okay, this guy keep chasing me like that, blocked my number, and then I was working with the one lead generation platform and we closed the account, something like that. So sometimes if someone calling me every hour, one time, or I'm busy right now, or I don't want to answer. So if keep calling me, I will do the first block the number. So this also, I know that we have to call 10 times the people to get them on the phone. But again, from here, what we do that we don't fall in the scam category. This is a little make difficult.
Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
Of course, you want to make sure that you're compliant with all things.
Sorry, Phil, you're breaking up a little bit. We can't hear you there.
Can you hear me okay now?
There we go. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So you want to, Moran, you want to make sure that you're compliant with your local real estate councils, boards, associations, as well as all things EXP, and of course, to confer with your local do not call list as well, right? So yeah, by no means would Jeff would we be advising to do anything that's contrary, but it's just, I guess that the point is the message is in the follow-up. And, you know, of course, if someone asks you not to follow up with them, you should, you know, respect that and take them off your list, et cetera. But really, I think what Jeff's trying to say is that the fortune is in the follow-up, and sometimes it takes, you know, more than 1 or 2 attempts. But of course, to, you know, make sure you are compliant with your councils, associations, all that stuff, your local real estate boards, and confirm, you know, referring to your do not call list.
And one more thing about it, it become a little more precise on like a Google ad, like LinkedIn and the Facebook and the YouTube, because you know that in the Facebook, when we advertising, so we cannot go for the income, we cannot, because in the US we can do everything, but in the Canada, unfortunately, if we want to just put, should be 25 miles, and after that, you know, it will go for 1 million. So you are spending maybe $100 for 1 million, and this your advertisement almost will be lost, because you cannot be hyper focused. You cannot concentrate in the 1 mile. You cannot concentrate on over 50. I did lots of times, I boost my post on Instagram, and 90% was 18 to 24 years old seeing my boost. So almost we lost them like that. So which platform more precisely, Google Ads, Facebook, YouTube, and this, which one you find that ROI is much better? Become more precise, please.
Yeah, Google for sure. Google drives better quality leads than Facebook. Facebook is limited, like you're saying, you can't deal with income, age, all that kind of stuff, but there's still good lead generation from that. I'm having a lot of success with YouTube. YouTube, you can do that. So in YouTube, when you optimize a YouTube post, you can do a lot more things with that. You can target age groups, you can target income. YouTube still allows you to do that. So I've just really focused on YouTube in the last few months. I've got over 13,000 views on one of my videos that I've posted, and I've optimized, and we're getting leads from that as well. So I would say Google, YouTube, Facebook are kind of my top 3.
And one thing about the lead generation company, because every day we are receiving 2-3 calls from all of them, bold lead, market, but many of them are in the US, many of them, and they are not familiar with the Canadian rules. So, but however, this is their issue. But you know, the problem is this, that they are sending them, first of all, the beginning cost is high, maybe $500 or $1,000 per month, sometimes asking for at least 3 months commitment, even the EXP for the 3 months like that. But whenever you are starting to call them, you will see that maybe 80% of them, they are not, doesn't work, because or the phone number is wrong or whatever. And I surprised that one of the, I think Matthew, I think so, it was webinar in the EXP, and he said that I spent 1,500 3 months with the, I don't know, Make It Rain or another things for the EXP, and he didn't sell anything for 3 months. He said that I lost $1,500. So the thing is, if we keep trying, for example, 2,000-3,000 for the bold marketing and fail, again 3,000 for the leader marketing, again fail, again 3,000 for buzz. So you will see that $20,000 you paid, and finally you don't know exactly. That's why we need the experience, that usually which lead generation online platform is work better than others. This is that we need the your experience or somewhere, that we don't waste money for 3-4 different things that maybe you already tried. You already tried bold marketing, doesn't work. It's okay that we know, that's fine. It is just one review. So anything that you feel that, oh, this online generation platform really worth it, because really lots of platform are there, and many of them you will not get the real ROI. This is the things we are not with a limited budget, because you know we don't have 100,000 aside to just spend 5,000 for this, 5,000 for that. After 1 year, find out, okay, this is the good. So that's why we need the mentorship from you. Or
Great question, Miran. I know that Jeff's KV Core, right? Like just what you're using with KV Core with your boosts and throwing money on that has been phenomenally successful. So leveraging the KV Core platform has been really your main thing, hasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, that's been very lucrative for sure. And yeah, you're going to get leads that don't put their proper phone number, but it's a numbers game. You're going to run into enough that do, and then you're going to be able to close that business.
Is that helpful, Miran?
So make it rain is okay. So that's why I need a little more precise to make decision. Make it rain or drip campaign, which one really works in the KV Core? Make it rain, or because nosy neighbor is in the US, it doesn't work in the Canada. But for the make it rain, does it work, or another things that we don't know?
So Miran, we have a lot of business partners in our organization that are having great success with Make It Rain. But it is a numbers game, right? Like, you know, if you generate 100 leads and, you know, it costs you say $3,000 or something, and you've got 2 transactions from those 100 leads at $10,000 a pop, that's a $20,000 return on your investment on a $3,000 ad spend. So, you know, you're making $17,000, right? And that's how you've got to look at it. And as Jeff was sharing earlier about tracking your advertising dollar, it's so easy to track with online. So you say, okay, listen, I'm going to, you know, you want to be crazy. You say, I'm going to commit to $3,000 a month for the next 90 days. And then in 90 days, you've generated several hundred leads and you've done maybe 4 transactions. And if your average commission is say $10,000, you know, that's $40,000 in revenue on 4 transactions on a $12,000 ad spend. And that's how you've got to look at it. You know, if I came to you and I said, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 this month, or give me 10,000, and in 30 days, I'm going to give you $13,000 back. Well, that's a 30% return on your money. That's actually a 360% annual return on your money. And so you've got to look at it that way. And with the internet, it's the easiest thing to track with paid ads. But it's not a 1 month, it's not a 1 week, it's a 6-month commitment, it's a 1-year commitment.
So the final question, the conversion rate for the Make It Rain, conversion rate is 2%, 4%. How did you find it? Conversion rate in the Make.
Jeff, you've never used Making It Rain, correct?
No.
So it's about 2 to 3%, I think. Yeah. 2 to 3%, somewhere in that range.
Which is pretty average for all, like, you know, when I do research on it, it's, you know, 3% is kind of the average, but you as the individual can get that to 10%. You know, if you're working them properly, if you're contacting them, if you're doing your drip campaigns through KV Core, you can get that way up. That's up to you. Like Phil and I have talked, like, there's not a bad lead in real estate, because who knows, their referrals, maybe they have someone from a family member moving to Canada. Like, I'll exhaust a lead. If they're not a good lead, I will talk to them to the point where they're like, sorry, Jeff, I really do not have anyone for real estate for you, but I will make sure that I exhaust that lead. I've had cousins get information for a cousin. I've had people that weren't interested. I drove to their house. Like, you know, I'll exhaust those, because anybody that has any interest in real estate, you're going to get some business from if you're persistent. So it really, like, I hear all this stuff about online lead generation that, oh, I can't get the numbers, I can't get that. And I hear a lot of that in the industry. I don't buy it. I feel like it's a lead is a lead. And if you contact it properly and you do your follow-ups, you're going to get results from it.
Yeah, I concur.
And Phil's taught me that. Phil's taught me to, you know, there's no such thing as a bad lead in real estate.
Just a bad person handling the lead.
Exactly.
And that's where you need to top up your game and your skill set. So amazing, amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Colleen Ferguson has her hand up. Colleen, how are you? Can you unmute your mic? We can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot I had my hand up. Okay. So
and we can't see you either. Can you want to turn your video on, please?
No, it's okay. Thanks.
Okay. Sounds good.
I want to know, Jeff, how you went about hiring an assistant.
Yeah, so I wanted, Phil and I talked about how I needed someone strong, like strong
Yep.
personality, someone that had industry experience, because I'm new. Like I wasn't going to be able to train them. I mean, I obviously have background in training other admins and in different industries, but having someone with real estate background was crucial. So as I mentioned, I picked kind of the top 20 brokerages in Ottawa that I feel had, the volume where I want to get to, and the pace. So I contacted them, and I literally found out. I went through LinkedIn. I found out who their admins were. I called their brokerages. Some of them were working from home because of COVID. Some of them were working beside their colleagues, saying, "Jeff, this is a horrible time to talk. Call me later."
Okay, cool.
I would send them an email, and I recruited admins by calling brokerages and cold calling them and having a conversation with them about joining my group. And part of my pitch was EXP.
Yeah.
These are people that worked for all my competition and said, listen, this is what I'm building in Ottawa. I want to be in the top 3 in 2 years. This is how I'm going to do it. And I need someone with your skill set. And this is what EXP does. We're taking over the world. We're at 70,000 agents. This is what we're doing in Ottawa alone and globally. And they wanted to be a part of that.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, love it. Thanks.
No problem.
Good job.
Yeah, I definitely, and Phil can attest, I've got, like, my admin is phenomenal. Like, she's just fantastic to work with, and takes so much off my plate.
And to speak to that, I mean, it is the foundation of your business. 80% of what happens in real estate is administrative in nature, right? And so to have that key team member that you can delegate to and work with will give you so much time freedom and freedom to focus on your high dollar producing activities, which are, lead generation, right? Lead generation first and foremost, right? That makes the world go round. So,
yeah.
Any other questions for Jeff, ladies and gentlemen?
And just quick question, how many percent of the buyers that you found on the internet are first-time buyer, and how many percent of them you find that, oh, they have to sell and now buy? So how many percent of them average first time or already selling something in order to buy?
Well, like, out of my 43 listings, I have 19 of those are, 43 transactions, 19 of those are listings. Okay, so almost a 50-50 split. Like, first time home buyers in Ottawa market, there's growth with that demographic for sure. So, there's probably, out of all my buyer transactions, maybe 40% of them are first time home buyers, 35%. And the rest of them are either, they've owned a place before, they might be renting now, or they need to sell their property as well.
And one more thing about the pre-sale. So how did you find the pre-sale projects that working, because they have 100, 200, 300 condos? So how did you find that one you can leverage to sell fast to lots of people? About the pre-sale, any idea?
Pre-sale, like new development, yeah.
Yes.
The reality in Ottawa is that new development is more expensive than MLS inventory. Okay, so I push people. I want to find out what it is they want, but if I can find someone a house that's 1 year old on MLS inventory versus a new build, I'm going to steer them to take a look at that, because from a cost perspective, it's a better deal for them. I can get a perfect fit for them that's not a brand new build. Maybe it's a 1 or 2 year, and it ticks all the boxes for what they're looking for. But if they're adamant that they want to have a new build, I'll go register them with the builder. I've only done 1 transaction that way, but I'll go register them with the builder and help them through that transaction. But in Ottawa right now, because of COVID, supply chain, the cost of lumber, a new build is $150,000 more than inventory in the market.
And one thing was very surprising me, that when I realized that on Toronto, the 5 years, I know that everybody's saying, don't talk about the commission. It is something, is it against the rule? I know everything that should not be fixed 100%. But here we have a guy from the 1% Realty, 1%. They're charging total 1%. But in Toronto, average here coming 3%, 2.5, however, but in the Toronto, usually I heard is 5%, 2.5 buyer, 2.5 seller. How about the Ottawa? Usually is the same Ontario rule? Average, I know they should not be fixed. Yes, I know, but average usually what is the average in the market in Ottawa?
That's a great question, Miran. And as we know, fee for service is totally negotiable based on representation agreements and what value you're bringing to your clients and such. And there are different business models around the world, right? So, there's no set fee per se anywhere. Its commissions are negotiable, of course, and it's it is what the fee that you charge your clients for the service that you're going to be providing them. And again, there are different models from anywhere from 0.5% to 10%, right, depending on what the transaction looks like. Is that fair to say, Jeff, in the Ottawa market as well is the same thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think that the average is like 4 to 5%, but we definitely, I mean, all market, you get your 1%ers and all those discount brokerages. They're all over Ottawa as well.
Yeah, there's a place for them for sure. So
you pay for what you get. Yeah.
Any other questions, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, awesome. Melissa?
Yes, no question. I just really love how Jeff converts the lead to 10% because of his skill set. And I really appreciate how he read the book like 7 times before he got his license. I haven't even read it 7 times. And it's the best book that will help you with your career.
Yeah, for sure.
7 times. That's amazing.
It's timeless, and again, right, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up somewhere else. So it's really a blueprint. And that's why I say if your preferred method of learning is Audible, that's great, but make sure you do get a printed copy of the book because it's very helpful as a reference.
Thank you so much.
One more question. I'm currently reading The Millionaire Real Estate Agent as well. Are there any other books that you would recommend for new agents?
I'll defer that maybe to Phil and Melissa as well. Like I've really focused on this book. I just read a book called Sell or Be Sold. It's Grant Cardone, who's part of EXP. Some people love Grant Cardone, some people don't. I enjoyed the book. It was actually a good book.
Yeah, no, and that's a great asset that we have at EXP available to everybody is Cardone University as well. So a lot of training, through Grant. Jessica, I'll share a list of books with you of great books to read.
Awesome, thank you.
Something very important that here always be stuck in between. As a new agent, I'm in the North Vancouver. So suppose as a new agent, you want to grab any chance. For example, you are in the Ottawa, you want if someone calling from the south of Ottawa, you want to grab that one, north of that, east, west, or whatever, like the Vancouver, north, Langley, Surrey, because it is the first, you don't have any listing, you don't have any customer, you want to, even in the Surrey, you want to go grab it. So from other side, they are saying that, okay, we should focus in the one area, we farm it like that. So I'm in the North Vancouver, there are not lots of the project here, but lots of projects are in the Burnaby, or lots of the good property are in the Surrey, or now the hot market is in the like a 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗘𝗧. So if you do farming in the West Vancouver or North Vancouver farming, and you will see that 100 houses are going to sell right now in the 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗧, it's just, itching you, I have to go there and grab that one because already selling, but I am farming this area. So if you farm in one area and other area selling, so you don't know, if you go grab that one, your marketing costs skyrocketed. It will go up because you have to pay for West, you have to pay for East, you have to pay for 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗧. So how we can manage between these two? We are stuck in one place while we are seeing that other people selling a lot in the Surrey or other platform, or we should just grab any chance. So here, how we can manage between the become local expert or become like not nationwide, like province-wide expert to at least we can grab whatever comes first. How we can balance between these two.
So Jeff, do you want to share that on your card campaign and then versus your internet and how specific you are? Because your business, I know, takes you all over the Ottawa area, right?
Yeah, like my online digital leads they're vast. Like they're really in every pocket in Ottawa. And if I have a good lead, it doesn't matter where it is, I'm going to work that opportunity. So I have like my online lead generation is really in all parts of the Ottawa area, east, west, north, south. I want to build my brand all over Ottawa. I don't want to be just targeted in one small area, but from a farming perspective, boots on the ground, to be able to walk a community you don't want to spread yourself too thin early. So pick an area that you're comfortable with and exhaust that area before you move on to the next one. So I exhausted my community where I knocked on every single door in my neighborhood I've knocked on, and some of them twice. I've door hangered every single house. There's 2,600 homes in my community. I've knocked on every single door. I've also sent postcards to them for the last 5 months. Now, because I'm the #1 realtor in my community, I'm moving on to, I've got 3 other communities that I'm focused on. So I'm door knocking those now and trying to penetrate those areas. But I think starting with something around 1,000 homes in that range is probably a good start.
Awesome. Any
Sorry,
other
I have
questions?
one more question. Yeah. When you were door knocking, Jeff, I'm curious, like, were you bringing any additional resources with you to talk about that particular community? Were you bringing anything with you when you were door knocking, or just introducing yourself as a new agent?
Yeah, you got to bring value. So like I watched a lot of videos on door knocking in general. Like I actually did door to door. I sold vacuums door to door when I was in university, so I had some experience. It's tough. Like selling a vacuum versus a house is way different. So when I knock on a door, I have a pad. It's a notepad, and it's about 40 pages of notepad, and it has a picture of me. It's got some information, and it says your task list, and it says first task: get a free home evaluation from Jeff Matheson. So I give them that. As soon as they open the door, I give them something. And by giving them something, it's an icebreaker. Okay. So I give them something, and it all is around what's going on in the community. So the first thing I say is, if I'm on a street, I'll find the most recent sale. If they didn't have one in the last 6 months, I'll find a street that's won over. And I'll say, hey, it's Jeff Matheson. I'm with eXp Realty. I'm a local real estate expert. And the first thing I say is, I live in this community. So I'm the #1 realtor in this community. I just live 2 blocks away. And I know the market really well. Did you know that house over there sold for X? Or did you know that house over there is just listed at X? And most people will say, what? Like, that sold for what? Like, I had no idea. And they're willing to talk now. And I won't ask them specifically if they would like to have a free home evaluation, or if they're looking to sell their house. I find they're off put a little bit with that. So I'll just say, we have a lot of buyers that want to get into Centerpoint. It's a great community. Do you know anybody on your street that would be looking to sell? And that's it. And then let them talk. And I've had people that said, come on in, like strangers, come on in. I want you to do a home valuation. So once they start talking, no, I don't really know anybody on the street. Wow, I didn't understand the houses were going that far. Then I'll ask them directly. Have you guys ever thought about selling? Have you guys ever wondered, like with all this crazy stuff going on in the Ottawa market, in our community, have you guys ever thought about finding out what your home is worth today in the market? And then I go from there. But it's very much like, first thing, I give them something, I back up. I'm not like in the door, I'm kind of back. And I approach it differently where, hey, do you know that place just listed for $1.1 million? Or that place just sold for $300,000 over asking? And then start having that conversation.
That's great insight. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Any other questions for Jeff, ladies and gentlemen?
So as a new agent, so if I know that whatever we put, we can get the 4 times more or whatever, but what is the minimum? What is the minimum budget that you should consider? Hey, so you want to start it, you should put minimum X amount every month for marketing. If it is less than that, just do any other job and just save money. And now you should be ready minimum this amount, because less than this amount, it really doesn't work that you want. So what is the minimum amount of budget per month we should consider? We should spend this one, and we should be ready to spend and wait till we get the result. What is the minimum one that we should? I know that couple of thousand could be from $1,000 to $10,000 per month. We will get $100,000 for the beginning. What is the minimum budget we should accept that this you should throw it, whether you will get back or not? What is the minimum in your opinion?
Jeff, what are you investing? Yeah, great question, Moran.
Like now it's totally different, right? So, I mean, I'm investing probably for all leads. And I mean, I'm talking my online lead generation, all my marketing, my mailers, my like all my marketing pieces. I'm probably about $7,000 a month. But if you wanted to start with 1,000, you could probably get an ROI on that. Like you got to remember, I'm now up to say $8,000 a month in all my lead gen, but I've grossed 450,000 GCI. Like the math to me is a no brainer, right? So it's what you want to, it's what you like, you know, a lot of new realtors as well, maybe don't have much to invest, or they're, you know, they're younger. They don't like, I came from a background where financially I was able to do that. So we wanted to hit the ground running, but I know like I've just brought on someone new to EXP. He's starting with $1,000, but he's also, there's free leads out there. Like he's calling FSBOs and getting, you know, we got a listing from a FSBO. You can penetrate and farm neighborhoods by looking up numbers where there was a for sale sign just listed or sold and call those streets. Those are free. So you can do
and door knocking those streets as well, Jeff, right?
Yeah, like
door knocking, that new listing activity.
Yeah, you can do a lot of free stuff in this market and get business. You just got to work.
Yeah, we've got, I've got agents that are doing 50, 60 transactions a year that don't spend any money on marketing, but they work. They make, you know, 100 attempts a day on the phone, 50 doors knocked a day, 4 to 5 days a week, right? They work. And that's a big part of it, is showing up and working, right? You know, it's the best.
In my community, as soon as a sold sign, sorry, as soon as a coming soon goes in the neighborhood and it's not me, everybody on that street gets door knocked by me. And they think I'm selling the house. I just introduced myself. Hey, did you know that house is selling for $850,000? And I have a conversation. Like that's free.
Leveraging market activity.
Exactly.
Right. It's really, you know, there are a lot of people that generate leads, dozens and dozens, hundreds of leads per month, and they don't follow up with them, which is kind of insane, but I've seen those stories time and time again. Okay. So, you know, if you're going to be doing that, you know, it's kind of a waste. So I would say that, you know, just do the tough stuff, the work, show up and do the work, right? You know, over 95% of buyers start their search online. So it is important to have a good internet lead generation strategy. But if you're not going to follow up with them in a fastidious kind of a manner, then it's all for naught, right?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Moran. Great questions. Anyone else before we call this awesome session?
The last question about this book, I know it is a fantastic book, but if you want to just give the summary in the 5 line, only 5 sentences about this book, 5 sentences, what he's telling inside this book, definitely will go and we read it 10 times as well. But if you want to just make it summary, you 7 times you read it, this one. So 5 sentences only. So this book, this is the like extract of that, telling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Appreciate it.
There's 3 things. It's the pyramid that talks about leads, listings, and leverage. That's it. Get your leads, get your listings, and then leverage.
That's it. That is it. The 3 L's: leads, listings, and leverage. And that's the name of the game. We're in the lead generation business.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time. It's been an hour. Thank you, Jeff, so much for spending the time with us, as well as Phil. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Lots of nuggets here. This is posted live on Facebook if you want to rewatch it.
Thanks, Melissa.
Amazing. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. And
Thank you. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.
yeah, have an amazing day. Great week, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.